Before you is a marble bust of George Washington, carved between 1838 and 1844 by the American sculptor Hiram Powers. The sculpture shows Washington from the chest up, with short wavy hair and a calm, steady expression. He is dressed not in military uniform or in the fashion of his own time, but in a draped robe, like a Roman statesman. This simple choice makes him look timeless, less like a figure of the 18th century and more like a leader for all ages. George Washington was born in Virginia in 1732. He became commander of the Continental Army during the American Revolution and later, in 1789, the first president of the United States. He served 2 terms, helping to shape the presidency into what it is today, and then stepped down willingly, setting the precedent that leaders should not rule for life. Washington died in 1799, but by the early 19th century he had already become a national hero, often called the father of his country. The artist, Hiram Powers, was one of the most respected American sculptors of his time. He worked mainly in marble and was known for combining lifelike detail with classical style. By sculpting Washington in this way, he was not just making a portrait. He was shaping how future generations would see their first president. Why the Roman style? In the early 1800s, the United States was still a young republic. Many artists and thinkers wanted to connect it to the great examples of ancient Greece and Rome, places seen as the birth of democracy and republican government. By showing Washington in Roman robes, Powers was saying, this new nation is not temporary. It is built on enduring values like freedom, duty, and public virtue. The style placed Washington in a long line of respected leaders, not only American but universal. Look closely at Washington's face. It is calm, serious, and without strong emotion. There are no signs of anger or triumph, no display of wealth or power. Instead, the polished marble gives him a sense of purity and dignity. The effect is to show Washington not as an ordinary man with flaws, but as a steady presence, someone who could guide a nation. Even the smooth robe across his shoulder adds to this impression, linking him visually to the wisdom of the past. This bust is more than a likeness. It turns Washington into a symbol of leadership. It reminds us how art can shape memory. For Americans in the 1840s, it reassured them that their young republic belonged to a much older story of freedom and self-government. For us today, it still carries a message. True leadership is not about show or personal glory. It is about service, responsibility, and enduring values. So as you stand before this work, imagine how people must have felt when they saw it almost 2 centuries ago. They were not just looking at stone. They were looking at the image of their founding father, transformed into an icon of stability and virtue, meant to inspire generations to come.